Hey, thanks for being here on this presentation here. Now, the topic of this presentation is word etymology, and it's definitely complexion terms. I previously did 2 videos or presentations on word etymology, but now they were just too long, drawn out, and people get lost in it or people lose interest in it. So I'm coming out with another one. It's gonna be thorough still, but it's gonna be a little bit shorter and not as boring. So without further ado, let's get into it. So as you can see right here, brunette means a woman dark in complexion having a brownish tone to the skin and hair, and you can include eyes also, but it basically centers around the skin tone. So that was being used in reference to dark-skinned women or brown-skinned women all the way back to the 1660s right there. And you can see where it stems from. French, then Old French, which means brownish haired, dark complexioned, from Brune, 12th century, West Germanic in origin. And also the male equivalent, as you can see, B-R-U-N-E-T. So it's a dark complexion person, generally male, same thing as a female. So now we're going into brown right there. Brown just means, we all know what brown means, dark, but then look at this dusky right there. 13th century, take it from Proto-Germanic, Brunaz, Old Norse, Brun Danish, Brun, Old Frisian, and Old High German, Brun, Dutch, Bruin, and German, Braun. Okay, so now where we at? We're looking at dusky right here, so 1550s, somewhat dark. Okay, then you drop down rather black, so dusky just centers around dark color, something that's dark in color. Okay, so now we go into the American Dictionary of the English Language, written by Noah Webster, 1828 right there. So now let's check out ruddy right there. So now they say the state of being ruddy, redness, or rather a lively flesh color. Okay, that degree of redness which characterizes high health applied chiefly to the complexion or color of the human skin. So basically the modern day application is like rosy, scarlet colored cheeks or scarlet colored hue. Okay, let's drop down and see what else it says right there about ruddy. Okay, of a red color. Okay, lively flesh color or the color of the human skin. Also of a bright yellow color. Okay, ruddy gold. Okay, now we're gonna go into Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1, page 152 right there. And we're gonna get more clarity or clarification on what ruddy means, and also, well, what it applies to. Okay, so you're looking at these different names right there: Ruari, Roderick. Okay, so they're saying that, okay, kinglet or chief. Okay, then it says, going into 153, it says it might have been doubtful whether ruad in this instance signified tawny and not rosy or ruddy faced or perhaps red haired. This might have been doubtful were it not for the fact that the poem just quoted from distinctly reveals those men as black skinned. That ruad does sometimes signify tawny. We have already seen the authorities for this rendering being Dr. Armstrong and Mr. J.F. Campbell. Therefore, this etymology and the contemporaneous picture both agree in depicting those sons of Ruari as the clan of the Tawny chief. Okay, so that's that's a good segue. It takes us right into tawny. So tawny means tan color, late 14th century, from Anglo-French tawny. So it's like the brownish yellow of tanned leather. So basically, from Old French, tanné, dark brown, tan. Okay. So tawny on Google is of an orange brown or yellowish brown color. Okay, so does tawny mean brown? Google search it. Okay, tawny is a light brown to brownish orange color. Then you have a visual. We're starting to get a visual right here. See these owls? They're kind of brown. They're just brown. Okay, so pale brown. Okay, so now you see different types of brown right there. Now I have like the screen record. I'm gonna let that play. So okay, tints of pale brown color. Perfect. So now we're gonna go into sable. All right, early 14th century right there. Black as a heraldic color. Now sable was originally an animal, kind of like a ferret-like creature. And it says, but the animal's fur is brown, though generally darker than the fur of other animals. Okay, so that may be the origin of the term right there. But also, let's scroll down some more. And then you see it says, okay, as an adjective from the late 14th century, emblematic of mourning or grief from the late 14th century by 1800, as black, with reference to Africans and their descendants, often in mock dignity. Not sure about that. That may be one segment of the population, but definitely a complexion term. Okay, so now we're going into that Noah Webster 1828 dictionary, and it says sable, black, dark. Okay. And it tell you its usages, but that was definitely used back in those times, medieval times. Okay, now we're going into sallow. Sallow of the skin or complexion of a sickly color, discolored, yellowish. Okay, but check this out. Middle English, sallow from Old English, sallow, dusky, dark. Okay, so you can go one of two ways, well, three ways really. If you like a lighter skinned person, paler skinned person, and you develop that sickly color, then you may look a little yellowish. But it could also be like a person that's tawny, say like a Steph Curry looking person or a Jasmine Guy looking person right there. And then also it says dusky and dark. So and then you can see as we scroll down the other, I guess, variants from other countries or other languages. Okay, so you see how it looks in Norse, how it looks in Dutch, Middle Dutch, Proto-Germanic right there, even Slavonic and Russian. So now we're gonna move on over to swarth. Now I'm gonna take some time on this one This is from the 1828 Noah Webster Dictionary right there. It says swarth. Swarth means, okay, schwarz, when being of a dark hue, moderately black, tawny. Okay, then it says a nation strange with visage swart. Okay, now then it says gloomy or malignant. So swart, to make tawny, brown, swarth, an apparition. Okay, swarthily, from swarthy, okay, duskily, with a tawny hue. Swarthiness, tawniness, a dusky or dark complexion. Now we're going into swarthy. See, swart, being of a dark hue or dusky complexion, tawny. Now check this out. In warm climates, the complexion of men is universally swarthy or black. The Moors, Spaniards, and Italians are more swarthy than the French, Germans, and English. Their swarthy hosts would darken all our plains. Then the second definition and how it's used: black as the swarthy African. Swarthiness, a tawny color. Now swartish, somewhat dark or tawny. Swarthy, swarthy, tawny. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward. Yep, now we're on etymology.com or Etymonline, and it says swarthy, dark colored, especially of skin. 1580s right there. Unexplained alteration of swarthy from swarthiness. Okay, so now check this out right here, down below, swart. Okay, it says Old English, swart, black, dark of night. And then it's telling you all the equivalents in other languages: Proto-Germanic, swarta. And then source also of Old Frisian, Old Saxon, and Middle Dutch, swart, Dutch, zwart, Old Norse, svarter, German, schwarz, Gothic swarz, dark colored black. Okay, so those are the root words. But then check this out right here. The true Germanic word surviving in the continental European languages but displaced in English by black of skin color of persons from late 14th century. Okay, so that's important to know right there. They didn't use black, where was it? From the late 14th century. So 14th century, so basically late 14th century and before. When you see the term swarthy or swartz or swartle or swartz and zwart and all of that stuff, you know it's talking about people who are dark in complexion. They even applied that to African people too. I mean, Indians also, the dark Indians, but you know, for the most part, they did not describe those people as black. You know, they used swarthy. So, especially in the UK area. So now we're going to go into sanguine. This is the online etymology dictionary right here. So sanguine, late 14th century, blood red, of a blood red color. So when it comes to having a sanguine complexion, it's basically the color of dried blood right there. So that's a brownish color. That's definitely a brown color with kind of a reddish hue. And speaking on reddish hue, ruddy, tawny, sanguine, those are all synonyms right there. They're all brownish. They're not scarlet, but they're brownish with a reddish hue. So how do I know that? Well, here we go. I got a visual for you guys. Check it out. Hey, so for my visual here, I have some pigment sticks right here, 3 to be exact. I have sanguine earth light, sanguine earth medium, sanguine earth deep, which is I guess the more pure dark color, intense version. All right, so as you can see, the light, medium, and intense, or high, or whatever you want to call it, deep is brown, and brown. I mean, what did you expect? All right, so let's go on into the 2 pieces of sanguine chalk right here by Conte a Paris, and as you can see, is brown. That's the dried blood color right there. So let's move on. How does it look? Okay, now we got some water soluble sanguine colored chalk right there. Is hey, what do you know? It's dark brown. Okay, so how does it look on paper? All right, so now let's go ahead and move on to it. All right, so I got the sanguine chalk, the lighter one, and then the water soluble chalk right there, and these are together. So as you can see, I mean, they're both brown. One's a lighter shade of brown, and the other one's a darker color. They're both sanguine, or ruddy, or tawny. Alright, so now we have some colored pencils right there. We have Scarlet Lake, Tuscan Red, Crimson Red, and oh, what do you know? Sanguine. And you see, sanguine is brown. Okay. Alright, so how do they look on paper? Okay, Scarlet is Scarlet, Crimson Red, Tuscan Red. Oh, that's kind of brown, but it does have like a reddish hue. Sanguine, that's brown. Okay, so now let's go on to the oil-based paint right here. I have a variety of colors, which is all light red, but let's see how it looks. Okay, so now we're gonna go kind of through a little spectrum here. At the top, you have raw umber and English red, and as you can see, what color it is. Tuscan red, you see what color it is. Venetian red, you see what color it is. Indian red, you see what color it is. Sanguine brown. I don't need to put any more commentary on it. I mean, you guys see for yourself. Everyone watching, you're intelligent yourself. You can deduce what you see here and just come to a proper final decision on what these terms mean, you know, especially from those times right there. Now let's go into the current, the modern day, the contemporary meanings of these words right here. And yeah, let's go ahead. So as you can see right here, this is a Google search for brunette right there, and as you can see, it is defined as a person with dark brown hair, typically used of a woman. Okay, and then you scroll down. Okay, brown hair. Okay, now Google search brown hair. Okay, now you see the imagery right there. That one in the middle, she could be, I don't know. She could be a brunette, but then what? This one on the right, nah, just the hair, but the skin, nope. Notice how they took the skin out and they just have a hair. But then let's see what it says right here. Brown hair, also referred to as brunette or brunette, is the second most common. Okay, yeah, we know that. Okay, after black hair. Okay, it varies from light to brown hair. Okay, or at least they're admitting this next part here. It is characterized by higher levels of the dark pigment, eumelanin, and the lower levels of the pale pigment, pheomelanin. Okay, let's scroll down. Okay, what does it mean to be a brunette? Okay, it says a person having brown hair, usually used of a woman or girl. Okay, and then it makes a distinction right there. Brunette with the double T, E, double T, E in use. That's for the female or the feminine. And when it's a boy or a male, the masculine is just BRUNET. Okay. Keep that in mind because I have a Jackie Robinson article on that. Okay, now when you look at these, I guess if you look at a YouTube video and you type in top 50 most beautiful brunette women and also top 100 most beautiful women, beautiful brunette women, you know, you will see out of 150 people, probably only maybe 4 or 5 are true brunettes, meaning the complexion, a brown complected person. The rest are pale skinned people with black or brown hair. That's what they think of today. Okay, what else do we have? So now we're gonna go into this video where this guy is giving his interpretation of sanguine. That's what it means in his world, his circle of friends. That's what sanguine means, but you know, it definitely contrasts harshly with the classical term, the etymological meaning behind it, sanguine and all of that. But let's see what this guy has to say regarding the word sanguine.
Hi there, students. Sanguine. Sanguine. Sanguine is an adjective meaning optimistic, upbeat, cheerful, confident. So he seemed very sanguine about our chances of winning the match, but personally, I'm not so sure. Sanguine can also be a colour, a red-brown colour, the colour of dried blood. And often artists, certainly in the past, used this colour for drawing. Notice, sanguine, we have this phrase, in the pink. So this red colour, this reddy, ruddy brown colour, in the pink means you're in a great situation. Sanguine could also talk about somebody's complexion, where they have a ruddy complexion, pink and full of life. I don't think I would use sanguine in a casual conversation down the pub. Yeah, I think I would use positive, upbeat, confident, something like that. Or for the colour, pink. So, what about the origin of this word sanguine? Well, this comes from Latin, sanguineus, of blood. Yeah? Okay, so sanguine, of blood. And clearly, in French, sang, S-A-N-G, means blood. So this word sanguine is related to blood. Yeah? Okay? When, in the past, people used to think that this was the humour of your body, and if you were sanguine, then you were optimistic and full of life about things. Okay? So, sanguine, optimistic, confident, cheerful, or a red-brown colour. Yeah? It's the colour of dried blood. So there you go. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Sanguine.
The only point that I agree with him on when it comes to sanguine, as far as complexion is concerned, is that when it comes to it being reddish brown, I agree wholeheartedly right there. Now the other stuff, the pink and the rosy cheeks and scarlet colored complexion, nah, I'll throw that away right there. But let's move forward.
Hi there, students. Swarthy. Swarthy. Notice the pronunciation. Swarthy with that or sound. Okay, this talks about a person's skin. A person can have a swarthy complexion. It means that their skin is dark and tanned. It doesn't mean black. It's not to refer to a Negro, but for example, people from the south of Europe, Mediterranean people, normally have a swarthy complexion. Or maybe you could have a swarthy face because you're always out in the sun. Okay, and this is swarthy. It means having a dark hue, a dark or a slightly dark skin, particularly this collocation, a swarthy complexion. Yeah, or you just call somebody swarthy. It means they have a very dark complexion. So, for example, certainly in Spain, gypsies have this swarthy complexion. Yeah, maybe this olive green, swarthy, dark complexion. A swarthy man with gleaming teeth, dark skin, dusky, very tanned as well. Okay, notice this word swarthy is not negative, although I've noticed some people use this word in a negative way. Dusky, with a dark complexion. Yeah, she had this beautiful swarthy skin and black hair. Okay, so swarthy, dark skinned, tawny, that's a good word. Yeah, darker skinned than white, but maybe lighter skinned than tawny. I like that. Okay, so swarthy, dark skinned. As to formality, this word sounds a bit literary, but I think I'm going to give it a 5.5 in formality and say you can use it anywhere. I think it sounds very good. It is used to describe a person. So in descriptions of people, I think this is a great word for describing people, describing the visual appearance. But notice swarthy, it talks about the skin, dark skinned. And that's how I would use it. As to origin, okay, it comes from the Middle English word swart, which comes from Proto-Germanic swart, meaning black, from Proto-Germanic swartaz. Yeah, okay. I hear this German word Schwarz, yeah, meaning black, and from Proto-Indo-European swerd, meaning black or dark. Okay, so swarthy, dark-skinned. Yeah, he had this beautiful swarthy complexion. She was a swarthy maiden with jet black hair. Yeah. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Swarthy.
Hey, yo, man, for real. Yo, he came out firing, man. Swarthy means black. No, doesn't mean a Negro. Come on now, we know better than that. He talks about how he's dark skinned, and he mentioned olive skin, tawny, and dusky. All now we all know what. Yo, this is funny, man, but we all know what tawny means, dusky, and swarthy. We all know what that means. So, I mean, these guys are redefining words. Now, like I say, I'm gonna leave a link to this guy's video so you can watch the whole entire thing. You know, no hate towards the guy. You know, I'm definitely not implying that he's being racist or anything. You know, I know a lot of people think, you know, that's what this channel is about, but the disconnect is that, okay, you see how old the guy is, but then what did he take in knowledge wise? I mean, there's a reason why you have so many editions, like I guess the Webster's second edition, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then, you know, so on and so forth, because they, I mean, not only are they bringing in newer words and more, you know, slang and different terms and things. I'm not saying that that's a problem right there. What I'm saying, the problem is that, okay, you have set terms that have set meanings, and then you just redefine them and distort the meaning and, you know, apply it to other people. So that's the problem right there. That's the issue. And we're gonna see that going forward, because this guy mentioned dusky, he mentioned tawny, he mentioned what else, olive complexion. So we're gonna go into this olive skin topic right now.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jaira, and as usual I explore and try to help those olive skin tones, whatever works best for them, fashion, makeup. Anyone who's olive skin tone, this is a channel for you. And I'm trying to do research, and you know, being olive skin myself, I'm so excited to have my beautiful friend here, Kayla.
I'm so excited to be a part of this.
Yes, so we are in like totally opposite side of the spectrum in terms of olive skin. So I am what you would call warm olive. We're gonna discuss more about that. And she's more on the cool side, the light olive side. So there are myths going around where like you hear the word olive and you would think it's only for dark skin. You know, like, oh, you have such a beautiful olive skin.
Yeah.
And it's usually like directed towards like Latinas or tan girls.
Yep.
But one thing I love saying is olive is not a shade, it's your undertone. So it's this green hue. So you could be super pale like her and have a beautiful olive undertone, and you could be in a medium, darker side like me, or even darker. I've seen like really dark girls that have like green olive hue undertone.
But wait, there's more.
I know there's already a ton of information out there about olive skin these days. In my skin tone video, I explained how essentially olive skin tone is, from a visual perspective, is a mix of red, yellow, blue, and white. And how your skin tone appears depends on the ratio of these pigments and how much of each pigment is showing through in your skin. For olive skin tones, we're called olive because of the distinct green hue in our skin, right? And green is a mix of yellow and blue, so olive skin tones have both yellow and blue showing through in our skin. Our skin still needs some amount of red for it to appear like human skin, so in order to have olive skin, we need a significant amount of yellow and quite a bit of blue present in our skin with a relatively small amount of red pigment. That's why some people say that olive skins don't blush, which is sort of a myth, and I'll explain why it's not necessarily true later on. This lack of red pigments is also why olive skin tones can easily look more sickly or have a distinct sallowness to their appearance. When we say someone has a healthy color to their skin, we're referring to how much redness is showing through the skin, because red is a clear indicator of blood flow. If you think about the skin color of a corpse, it obviously lacks that redness. And since olive skin tones have less red pigments showing through than other skin tones, it explains why our skin has more of that sickly appearance or sallowness to it. Now, just like any other skin tones, olive skin tones are also on a spectrum, which means that the amount of red pigments present in our skin can vary from one olive skin tone to another. So if we were to think about the amount of red in the skin on a spectrum, as more redness starts showing through the skin, it starts to look more and more like this brown instead of green. And once the skin loses the green cast completely, we no longer categorize those skin tones as olives. Why the amount of redness is important in determining olive skin tones is because green and red are complementary colors, so they're meant to cancel each other out. So when we mix green and red, it results in a gray color. So some olive skin tones that have a little more red pigments than others tend to have a bit of a grayish cast to their skin. So if you're not sure whether or not you have olive skin because you have more of a grayish cast to your skin than green, there's a good chance that you might be sitting somewhere within this middle range of the spectrum.
All right, to be honest, a lot of this stuff didn't make any sense, and I'm really not feeling it, because basically they're conflating these new definitions and terms with those that we individuals that we read about in medieval times. So, you know, it's a no-go for me. You know, I mean, you can have the new definitions, that's fine, but do not link it with those people that you read about in different annals from medieval Europe or medieval Africa or medieval Asia or even the Americas, because it's totally different. There's no connection whatsoever. They're saying olive skin means sallow and everything. I mean, that's not the medieval definition of sallow. It does not mean what people say olive skin means today. And you saw that girl. No disrespect to these people at all. This is strictly teaching points right here. But you know, olive skin and you're pale. Yeah, you're almost porcelain. Come on now, that's not what olive skin mean. So maybe after the clearances, you know, after the 30 Years War, when you cleared out all the people who was more connected, who had the skin tone that was connected to these different terms, that was sufficient. But now, I mean, come on now. But let me make one last point and then I'm gonna close out. But you know, you guys see what I see right here. So, you know, don't let them connect the antique term with the modern day term. Totally different. Different meanings, different application, you know, different etymology. So let's move forward. Now, when it comes to the etymological side of it, you have to take into account things like lexical change or semantic change, semantic broadening, and semantic narrowing, like I mentioned earlier. And then, of course, the prescriptive period of something. And let me give you the definition. Prescriptive means of a right, title, or institution having become legally established or accepted by long usage or the passage of time. So that concept of the prescriptive period is exactly like the statute of limitations for something. And in this instance right here, we are talking about something that has been accepted by long usage or the passage of time. Speaking of these definitions, Swarthy, brunette, in the original meaning, not the contemporary distorted versions, but the pre-1900 version. So all of this takes us back to the time of usage, and this is a little exercise that I did, and I want to present this to you guys, and you can take it and present it to other people. But the time of usage, the contemporary terms, they're all very, very young in comparison to the pre-1900 version. We're going to take the word brunette, for example, and I will start off by being very generous towards the contemporary version, and I'm going to give it some years that it doesn't have, and the older, more established version, I'm going to be stingy towards it initially and take away some years and put a cap on its overall time of usage. Then we're just going to let it all hang out. We're going to be truthful and present everything as it actually happened. You know, when it comes to the time of usage, we're going to examine the older standard all the way up to when that shift happened. Okay, so this is simple calculation here. We're going to start off with the original classical definition of brunette, you know, the one with the dark brown complexion, dark eyes, dark hair, but mostly dark brown complexion. Okay, so you're going to take your calculator, and it's 2023 right now, so 2023 minus, okay, see that definition right here, that etymology online definition, it has 1660 right there. So we're going to take what was it, 1900 and 1660. Okay, now put that in, equals, we come to 240 years. So now we're going to shift over to the newer contemporary version. Okay, so it's 2023. Okay, so what you do is 2023 minus 1900 equals, and we get 123 years for this new distorted version of the word. So what does that mean for us right now? Well, that means that the classical version of brunette, being soul capped, handicapped, and nerfed, outweighs or have more years when it comes to time of usage than I guess, the hyped up, the souped up, the generous, non-dark skin version, contemporary version of the word brunette. 123 years is like the max that this new contemporary version can have, and it doesn't even have that. Why do I say that? Well, check this out. There was a baseball game between two teams, of course, the Bravos or the Braves of Boston and the Dodgers of Brooklyn. Now, there was a man, you may have heard of him, his name is Jackie Robinson. He was making his debut. This was April 15th, 1947. Now, the guy calling the game, Red Barber, guess what he called Jackie when he described him to the listeners listening to the game? He said Jackie was very definitely brunette. Now, in the papers, they write it in the feminine way, but it's a masculine way too, just the BRUNET, not the TTE ending that the women have. Now, think about that for a minute. Very definitely brunette. April 15th, 1947. So that means we have to do some adjustments here. Okay? So what are the adjustments? Well, instead of the non-brown complexion version or the contemporary version starting at 1900 to present day, we have two present day all the way back to 1947. Now we're going to do our calculations. Okay, you guys ready? Oh, where's my pen? Okay, calculations. Okay, present day 2023, 1947. What is that? 76 years. So this new brunette is still in its infancy. Standard building is still, in action. And they're doing a lot of work. The time of usage has been adjusted because, like Jackie, he was still being referred to as a brunette in 1947. Come on now. So that's only 76 years for this standard, quasi-standard, to be in action. So what does that mean? Well, it means that due to the adjustment, we have more years on the original side. So it's really not 1660 all the way to 1900. It's actually 1660 all the way to 1947. So pull out your calculators again. We're going to do some more math. So 1947 to 1660. What does that give you? 287 years. So we're looking at, and this is still being capped right here. So 287 years time of usage compared to 76 years. Now, 1900 or Woodrow Wilson's period, that's when the seeds were being sown. But this whole brunette not being a dark-skinned girl, brown-skinned girl, the complexion being taken out, it's only been in, I guess, full effect for 76 years. See what I'm saying? Now I got even more adjustments to make. What's that you say? Well, check this out here. Okay, so I got the definition back on the screen, and okay, so you see 1660s, of a woman dark in complexion having a brownish tone to the skin and hair, 1660s, and it's taken from what? French, brunette. Okay, femme of brunette. Now that was taken from Old French, brunette, brownish, brown-haired, dark complexioned, feminine, diminutive of brune, brown. What's that? What's that in the parentheses right there? 12C? What is 12C? Well, of West Germanic origin, from Proto-Germanic brunas, bright brown. Now, I'm going to put another brown synonym clip right here. Now, Old English brune, dark dusky, developing a definite color sense from 13th century, from Proto-Germanic. Okay, now look at the sources right here. Old Norse, brune, Danish, brune, Old Frisian and Old High German, brune, Dutch, bruin, German, braun, bright brown. Okay, so it goes further back. Like I say, I was capping it initially 1900 to 1660. Okay, now it was adjusted, so 1947 go all the way back to like the 13th century. Hold up, I'm wrong on that. Go all the way back to the 12th century. So the 12th century all the way to 1947. So you guys see? You see what I see now? This is all about building a proper frame of reference. That's a young definition, man. That's a young standard. The contemporary, distorted version. 76 years. I mean, going back all the way from 1947, starting at 1947, going all the way back. That washes that 76 years right there. So that time of usage is on your side. Now, what else do we have on our side? The prescriptive period. Okay. Now, what does prescriptive mean? Okay. Having become legally established or accepted by long usage or the passage of time. So basically, the remedy to all of this stuff is, hit the books, get your knowledge up, use wisdom, and how to combat all of these distortions that is being rained on us constantly. So just take back all of these terms, put them in use again for yourself. Use them to describe yourself, your people. Post-production, I wanted to make a point regarding the time of usage concept. If you are going to create a standard, your standard should at least meet and or exceed the older standard, so that way you can have more gravity in what you are trying to present and propagate to the masses. Does that make sense? Back to the video. Okay, so now that's about it for this presentation right here. I had to condense my earlier 2 videos, which was basically like an hour and 45 minutes between the 2 of them. I finally condensed it into 48 minutes, 1 video. The points are still hitting hard though. So yeah, I'm gonna conclude right now, and I'm gonna delete those other 2 videos. So guys, take care, hold it down.